Sibanda is a young poet full of dreams and hopes for our country. Let's share some of these with him.
While African children and their parents were in acute danger of starving to death, Sibanda was using poetry as a vehicle or rather weapon to express his feelings. More often than not, Sibanda speaks his mind on the paper. This 21-year-old author, a poet and a student, demands to know where African continent is headed. Through an anthology of poetry that he wrote, If God Was a Poet, what inspired this young man?
I was inspired by the suffering of the African throughout the continent of Africa. In other words, I was inspired by the commonality of the African experience, that is the political situation which is happening throughout Africa and its effect on the social activities. So my poetry is a language. It's a language which you have to first understand it before you can understand the subject of the matter.
Ngosnati believes that apartheid has to be vigorously exposed. But why did he specifically choose the title of his anthology?
I am saying, if God was a poet, what would happen? At the same time, I'm questioning, is God not a poet? So my poetry is enshrined within that debate of provoking the mind to reason and to look at what it has assumed to be the norm and to be obvious.
Most of his fellow students who intend to pursue the career of his interest turn to him for advices. However, his publishers perceive him to be the youngest published poet in the African continent. If God Was a Poet is a unique collection of poems that will give African readers a weapon to fight racial discrimination and oppression. According to him,
they will gain a different perspective, a different way of viewing things which they perceive as being very, very obvious. I think that also the gain is partly long-term in terms of having something to contrast with in the future as literature develops and as literature moves forward.
We need to establish a contributory, I can say a contributory dimension of literature, and my anthology of poems will contribute towards the pool of the new generation of African writers who are going to contribute towards telling the world the actual truth about what the African experience is all about. Sure, I did experience a lot of what I wrote, but some of it is also what other people experienced and told me, and I felt that it is worth telling others, because if you live a life and your experiences are the only thing which you value, then you are an incomplete person. You have got to understand that other people's experiences are very important.
The moment that I started associating with personality, one could vividly recognize the flashes of positive flashes of a genius, a man who had a vision, a man who knew what he wanted to do, regardless of the fact that he knew not about lands initially, of his lands upfront. Because it's like poetry, according to the way that it could be, it's a cry. Not only a cry, but a being born a type of gift which one has to send out to harming people in an adequate manner that is going to send them as a better thing to fight and preserve their country.
in no uncertain terms, his anthology will reach those it is meant to reach, and others will learn from it. His aim remains to continue fanning the flames of awareness as much as the need for political liberation within the African conscience.
There is no religious connotations between my name and the title of the anthology. It is a mere coincidence, and it is just one of those things that my name is Nkosinathi and the title of the book, If God Was a Poet. But otherwise, what I meant is that for us as a society to develop, we need to look at certain provocative debates.
Sibanda doesn't mind writing the book for 10 years, as long as he exposes the truth about the struggle of black people in this country. as well as African.